I felt so defeated for a long time as a Christian because I'm knowing the things that are required of me, but not knowing how to actually put this stuff in process.
When I'm in a place of not forgiving, I feel chained to that situation.
So unbothered.
Right.
So unbothered.
And well, what did you do to that person that could possibly had hurt them?
You know, we forgive each other, and that restores our relationship back.
Once you begin to forgive, it's so encouraging because once you start seeing the process of the things that start happening because you forgave that situation, it's encouraging.
Why it is important for us to forgive, every person wants it.
What's up? What it do? Hey. We thank you for tuning in. And if you haven't hit subscribe, go ahead and invite a friend. It's me. I'm your main guy, Ty. That's me. And this my girl, Anita. And you know we keep it fly. Hey. We keep it clean. Yeah, we keep it real nice. Hey. And when we get together, just know it's a real vibe.
That's right.
We're two people who do a lot of talking on topics that are relevant to your daily walking.
Sure.
Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hold on, Ty, wait. It's time for me to go.
Okay.
Chilling on the set with your main guy, Ty. We tell jokes, we love to laugh. You get a major high.
Hey.
Together we want to do some new things for you. So we hope that you enjoy watching season 2.
That's right.
Now you ain't got to sit there like you on the fence because we are the two that are talking with sense. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Thank you for watching us.
Thank you so much for tuning in once again.
Much love to you. We love having you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate all the love. We thank you for this day. So Anita. Anita.
Oh boy, what's up? What's up, man? Got Ty?
Man, these days have been pretty, I don't know.
Which days? The work days, the school days.
Just like everything has just been a whirlwind. But God is still good. He still gets all the glory. I'm just excited to be here with my sister.
I am that.
It's been a while since we actually recorded, so I'm excited that we are back together again.
We're still in a pandemic, even though the world doesn't much look like it, but we still are.
I know, right? Everybody just moving like it ain't. Like you would think the Rona gone, but it ain't.
It's not gone, guys.
It's still here.
We are still in a pandemic. No matter how normal we try to force it to look, yes, we are still in a pandemic. So I would just encourage you to continue to follow all of the guidelines that we should have been following anyway prior to COVID. But just continue to be safe, continue to wear your mask, continue to, if you do have situations where you are as close as we are to each other, Lord be a larger camera so we can get 6 feet. But thankfully we do what we have to do so that we can make sure that we can come together and record. And so just continue to be safe. Look out for not only yourself but your family and others. So
that's right, y'all heard it from Anita. I almost called her other name that I called her, but anyway. So what are we talking about today?
You know what? I'm not even gonna get into it. I don't know why I almost let him pull me into that rabbit hole. I'm not gonna get into it.
It's Lady B, by the way. I don't want y'all to think. I still said it, I know. But the way you was like, which name? Like you
I mean, you call me a plethora of things.
Yeah,
none bad though. Yeah, none that I would consider anything disrespectful or anything like that. No.
Right.
But still, I just didn't know which name he was talking about. But so, I mean, we're not perfect. None of us are perfect. Even with the best of intentions, even when we try to say or do what we feel is the best thing to do, we still will sometimes at some point offend someone.
Yes.
You know, at some point we're going to offend someone. And if you're anything like me, when you know that it's not your intention to offend someone, you want their forgiveness.
Yeah.
you want it. And so today's topic, we're going to be chipping away at that little topic of forgiveness.
So as we get to talking about forgiveness, it came to my mind and I wanted to ask you first, and I'll answer it as well. But how did not forgiving affect you in the past?
In the past, well, first you had like I had a problem with it, but no, but truth be told, I did crack that little joke, but I did. I can remember back in my younger years, forgiveness was not one of those things that I just felt like I had to just rush and throw it out there. I can look back on it and say that it did cost me a lot of energy. The things that I am aware of now that it could cost us, I wasn't really aware of those things back then, but it cost me so much time and energy to maintain that space of unforgiveness for whomever it was that I felt that I didn't want to forgive at that time.
Man, and you know what? That's similar for me. It's just like, and it was just to the point where I didn't forgive that person so bad where I thought of them dying. It was, it was
that was serious.
Yeah, it was like that serious. Like I didn't care if they died or not. I almost killed them in my head type thing. But as I started looking at it and God started dealing with me, I'm like, you can't be like that.
Right.
Like, you a child of God, and that person is as well. And so it really affected me in a bad way because it made me negative.
Right. Of course,
in a negative space.
It does. It will keep you in a negative space. But then, you said something that, a key element. You said, God wants you to do it, or something like that. You said, but then, and I'm thinking, and it's much easier for us to hold a Christian accountable to forgiving, because we know that is something that is required of us as Christians. For anyone else, we tell them the other benefits to it and why they should and things of that nature. But I think when it comes to you or any other Christian that I know, I kind of rest on that fact that I can hold them accountable to God by this. And so in that, being able to strongly encourage them that they should forgive.
Right, definitely. And I just remember just being in a place also too where it was multiple people who I was holding grudges on, and it just become
just down the road.
Yeah, just so many people that I'm just blaming. But one thing I do understand too, and about forgiveness, although you forgive at that moment, you're not going to forget. I think it takes.
It's not about the forgetting,
right?
Because I'm almost willing to guarantee you that you're never going to forget what happened. I do know of some people who, and again, speaking of Christians in this respect, but I do know of Christians who it's been their prayer, Lord, help me to forget it. And who knows, maybe for them in not forgetting it, maybe it put them in a space of where they were always reliving it or ruminating on those thoughts or different things like that, but for whatever reason. But outside of situations of that nature, forgetting is not something that's going to happen. So you have to make a conscious effort, be intentional about forgiving, although you won't forget.
That's good. Because I know it's, me using myself, I still would think about some of the things, but it's not to the point where I'm just like, oh, I hate them still like it was before. But like you said, it's kind of impossible for us to not remember. It was still. Now I've had moments where it would be a situation you'd be like, oh, I forgot all about that. I'm sure you had those moments. Oh, I forgot all about that. Now you have those moments for different situations, like having a fallout with somebody. I'm like, man, I forgot what I said. I forgot all about that. But there are some situations where you will never be able to forget because it cuts so deep.
Right. But then here's the thing about forgiveness, like actually truly walking through the process of forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, like I just said before, that you won't forget, but walking through that process of forgiveness and actually forgiving someone for a thing, it will put you in a state of you're calmer. That stress response is not activated all the time when it comes to that particular incident. And so it does kind of sort of in time, it puts it in a place to where it's no longer at the forefront of your memory.
Right.
It actually goes through that process of your brain as it should, to now become one of those things that goes kind of like stored into that long term. It's not something that you automatically retrieve, because you allow yourself to go into that space of relaxation and calm to now do what you normally should do. So it will kind of sort of almost seem like, oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true. And then, but once you're reminded by it, you sometimes could relive it.
Yeah, but then I mean, even, and I'm not speaking for you or me or whatever, but or not even saying that people are not truly walking through the process. I'm not trying to say that at all, but I am just simply just stating that, you know, when you are in a place of forgiveness, it will almost appear as if you have forgotten about it. And it's really not one of those things that just kind of pops up into even your automatic thoughts that way, because you have trained yourself, you've purposed yourself to put your thoughts on other things. Maybe putting your thoughts on those good things, those pure things, or maybe putting your thoughts on those moments of gratitude or thankfulness or things like that. So when you're filling yourself with things of a more positive nature, it kind of pushes down, not pushing down in a sense of suppressing, but pushes down or pushes back those thoughts that could be your automatic thoughts. So it's literally almost a process of retraining your brain, so to speak. So you retrain it to where your automatic thoughts are not instantly negative thoughts. Right.
And then another thing, as we continue with the episode, I was thinking, a lot of times when I've seen when people forgive, they're ridiculed or talked about because they may seem weak. A lot of people, just because you forgive, you're perceived as weak.
And that could be one of those reasons why you have some people who don't forgive, because there's a number of reasons as to why you will find a person who rests in a place of unforgiveness, or they won't forgive. But you know, like for me myself, now that I would consider that I've grown a little bit in this area, forgiveness is something that I offer up automatically.
Yes.
I offer it up automatically. And it's one of those things that you have to do because you know why it is that you're doing it. Yes. And for me, I know that for me, when it comes to forgiveness, I do it instantly. I do it right away because I know I want that forgiveness. One, I know it's something, I am a Christian, and so I know that it's something that God requires of me. I know that it's something that if I want it from Him, then I should be willing to extend it to others. And so when it comes down to forgiveness, I automatically do it. When it comes down to the process of it, I don't allow the process of it to hinder me from automatically offering it, because I know that it's something that I need to do. We're going to figure out this process later. We're going to figure out this process later.
Right. So 12 years ago, Anita.
Oh! Let me see, 12 years ago. So that put me like right up in around 28. I hadn't quite gotten it right yet. I hadn't quite gotten it yet. Yeah. I was on my way to it, but I hadn't quite gotten it yet.
Yeah.
Why you had to put me on black? 28-year-old Anita. Why you had to do that?
I just had to go with that.
But it's I've been asked the question before of how is it that you can forgive? How do you forgive somebody when they've done, you know, X, Y, and Z? Because, you know, sometimes we'll have it in our mind of, you know, what is just the most horrible act that someone could commit, and how could you forgive that? And, you know, me personally, it's not my strength.
Right.
It's not
For
mine.
real.
Me by myself, I can't do it. I cannot do it alone because it is so easy to look at what it is that someone else has done or has said, and you reflect on how it caused you to feel. You know that it caused you to feel something that you just really didn't like. You just really didn't agree with it, and so is in myself. I don't have the strength to do it. But God does.
Yes. Amen.
And so
Church
church up in here.
But you know what I was thinking too? A lot of people will apologize. A lot of people won't. But the thing with forgiveness, we have to be okay with whatever happens in that situation. If they don't apologize, if they do apologize, we still have to forgive. And
just knowing that I heard this in a movie one time before, but knowing that the forgiveness is for you, is not for them.
Right.
You do your part. When we learn that we are only held accountable for ourselves and not someone else, then I want to think that it should push some of that other stuff away. If you've done something to me, but I automatically forgive you, or if I did something to you, you did something to me, I forgive you for what you've done to me, but you don't forgive me for what I've done to you.
Yeah.
I can't sit up here and be like, well, I take my forgiveness back, or sit in the place of, well, how you gonna not, I can't worry. That's between you and what you and whomever you serve. Because as for me and I'm gonna do what I know that I'm supposed to do. Thanks. Regardless of what it is that you do.
Right. So what would be like a reason why some people won't forgive?
Okay, so there's more than one reason. There's multiple reasons. I mean, because when you really get down to it, it's up to whatever that person says is their reason as to why. But some reasons could be that some people won't forgive because they believe that if they forgive, then that is their admission to being at fault, or that the person who wronged them was right. Right. And then you had mentioned earlier about
them feeling weak, like when they forgive, it appears that they are weak. Right.
And so that is true. Some people won't forgive because to them, forgiveness would make them appear as if they are weak. I can speak for me back when this was an area that I struggled with. For me, it was just straight stubbornness. Me being stubborn, and that was like my outward show. It was an outward show that whoever the person is that I'm not forgiving, that they had wronged me.
Wow.
So this is by you saying that I am not willing to forgive this person, then you know that, oh, they definitely must have done something wrong to her, because I was never the type of person. I don't try to cross people. That's just not my cup of tea to try to cross somebody. And so if someone crossed me, then immediately you would know. And I just went into this place of not forgiving them. And so that was kind of like that outward show that people would know, like, oh yeah, they messed up with her type of thing.
Wow. You know what? And one reason why a lot of people don't give is generational. Because, you think about like those families that have like this art with each other over years and years and years. And so children that wasn't even alive during that time, but still holding some type of grudge towards that family because of their ancestors or whatever.
You're right. And then also for some, it's that sense of believing that they are hurting the person who they choose to not forgive. It's almost like they're cutting that person off. It supports their false sense of greatness that they've declared for themselves. So it's kind of like, if you'll hear how some people, they're kind of like, well, if I'm not talking to you, that means you did something, because I'm just this great person who doesn't err, who doesn't do wrong by anybody. So if I'm not talking to you, or if I choose to cut you off, that means that you did something type of thing. And so for some people, it's literally like they believe that they are hurting that other person by cutting that person off from them, from
Right.
all of their greatness or whatever.
Greatness.
Yeah. I mean, because, no, I say it jokingly, but it's because, you know, some of us, we think like that of ourselves. We think like, you know, I'm just this great person that so many people should want to be connected to me. And if I cut you off, then that's your loss. And you messed up. And, you know what I mean?
Like you
don't think so
God's
highly
gift.
of yourself, you know, like, oh, so you messed up type of thing.
Like you just God give to the earth. You ain't,
Yeah.
please.
Forgive them folks.
Right.
Forgive them folks and move right on along. But I mean, is what I do want to highlight is that, you know, prolonged spaces of unforgiveness or just chronic unforgiveness, I'll call it. It is, well, one, it puts you in a place of always living in bitterness and resentment. You know, you're like a bitter person, resenting. And then also it being connected to your health.
Oh, my
you know,
goodness.
it's connected to your health, linked to stress and anxiety. Maintaining the space of unforgiveness, like I said before, it keeps you at that place of having that activated stress response. And so your stress response, it doesn't have that time to calm and put you in a calm state. Our stress responses are not designed to always be alert, always be on go, ready. This is something that has been designed in us. We didn't create it, but designed in us to help signal when we are in danger, you know. And so it's what gives us that fight, flight, or freeze response. And so it's crazy how it works, but with us being in that place of unforgiveness, more so because of ruminating thoughts and things like this, that we allow ourselves to be in these patterns. But with that stress response always being activated and not being able to have that time to calm, it is literally almost like that person who has PTSD.
Wow.
And because this is essentially what you're having that's happening with the person who is with PTSD, that overactive stress response. And then also, you know, a couple of other things that are coupled with it is not only just the stress response, but you know, it'll be like the recurring thoughts, recurring whatever that activates these stress responses. And then with you being in a state of unforgiveness, you're ruminating on these thoughts. And that's why I said it takes energy, because you are literally having to ruminate on whatever the thoughts were that put you in this place of unforgiveness. So these thoughts replaying over and over through your mind, they are activating that stress response each time.
Wow.
And so prolonged exposure to this, it could lead to anxiety, depression. It could elevated blood pressure. You can begin to see like weakened immune system. So it is not like it just, you just not forgiving somebody. It could affect you in your health and as well down the road.
Man, that's a lot.
It is. I mean, so yes, God requires it, but truly, like we said earlier, forgiveness is not just for the person, it's for you as well. It's for you, it's for your peace of mind, it's for your health. But I'm not absent to the fact that it's a process.
It's a process. Yes.
It's a process. Yes, we know that God requires us to forgive, but for some, the process is just a little bit tougher than others. Now, that doesn't excuse you. That doesn't say that, okay, well, since your process is a little tougher, you don't have to deal with it. No, you have to walk out your process, however your process looks. Now, segue just a little bit, but this is what I love about our profession. You know, and I always find a way to put it, but this is what I love about our profession, because it helps to put into practice those things that are required of us to do. I can speak for myself as a Christian. I spent much of my life feeling defeated as a Christian because I knew the things that were required of me, but there was still like nothing to show me or to teach me how to achieve this. And I know some of you like, oh no, but you got the Holy Spirit there to lead you and guide you. Yeah, okay, I know. But I'm not going to sit up here and act like everybody is just off rip hearing and knowing like, okay, yeah, this is what the Holy Spirit is leading me. No, everybody don't just have that, just all that. It takes growth and maturity to get into that, to be able to hear clearly. So I don't ever want to just sit up here and act like, you know, yes, it is available, it is accessible, but that doesn't mean that we all know how to be in tune with it right away. And so I felt so defeated for a long time as a Christian because I'm knowing the things that are required of me, but not knowing how to actually put this stuff in process or put it in practice. And so forgiveness, which this is also one of these things that there is a process. And so with many of the skills that we teach, many of the skills that I've taught, I talk about, my faith is not in these skills. My faith is not in what I've learned and what I do, but my faith is in God through these things. And so I know that God, he teaches us how he shows us and lead us through this process by different resources, different things. And so everybody's process of forgiveness is not the same, but at just the simplest form of what I can think of off rip would be being able to evaluate automatic thoughts. That is the simplest thing that I could think of if I had to say something just right now of how to help somebody in that process of forgiveness, of being able to now apply forgiveness to your life, your daily walk, whatever. It is learning how to evaluate your automatic thoughts and then being able to restructure.
And cast them down.
I mean, and that's the same thing. That's another thing. The Bible tells us that we should be able to cast down those thoughts of the imagination. Okay. Simply saying it doesn't mean that a person knows how to do it.
Right.
And we want to, I mean, we act as if a person should automatically know how to do it, and we're being held accountable to it, but that doesn't mean that a person automatically knows like, okay, yeah, so this is how you cast it down. Yeah. So when a person sits with me and we're working and this is what our assignment is while we're in the room, say like our work that we're doing in the room is evaluating automatic thoughts, which really, when we talk about casting down thoughts of the imagination, okay, these are automatic thoughts. You know, when I am translating that language into the language of a mental health professional, okay, so cast down thoughts. That equals evaluating automatic thoughts. Okay, so then to actually be able to cast them down, okay, so this is seeing what they are and now how do I learn to restructure them. So essentially, you're teaching people the skills that they need to know to be able to walk out this walk that we walk.
Wow. That's amazing. One thing, and two, like you said, the forgiveness is a process.
It is.
And, you know, for some people, it came to my mind, like someone who met the murderer of their loved one. That can be something that probably would take some people a very long time to forgive. I mean, and like you said, it's that process of basically, I guess, navigating how.
And you can't even assume that they will all have the same level of a teaching or a skill or anything like that, because it's not all wrapped up in the teaching and the skill, you know. Yes, these are things that we are learned and we are taught, but it just me, I know that it takes more than that. It takes prayer. It takes that faith. It takes knowing that God is able to do. And it's whatever he dispenses in that time for that situation that is going to send the deliverance and the healing that's needed for that situation. So yes, we have the skill. Yes, he teaches us, or he has made it available for us to be able to learn these different skills, but at the same time, it's whatever he's gonna dispense for each different person. And so say like myself, wanted to yield myself as that change agent, then I have to make sure that I'm connected to the source to be able to know like what specifically is needed for this person, that person, when I'm given this skill, and just really just trusting him to do the work, because something of that magnitude, because of, you know, having to have that forgiveness for someone who murdered your loved one. Yes, I know that forgiveness is required, but I'm not going to sit up here and act like, you know, for something of that magnitude, you're supposed to just be able to roll over and yes, forgive. Yeah. But I'm not going to sit up here and act like your process is going to be as simple as this. Just, right. You know, so.
Yeah, definitely true. And so, like, all of that, what he gives us, you know, we learn. We have these things, these strategies that we may possibly create within ourselves to help us be better and continue to forgive. Because just because you may be in a place of, you know, oh, I forgive now, who says 3 years from now something happens and you be in a place where you can't forgive the person because it just feels like it hits you so hard. You know what I'm saying? So what forgiveness does for us, we wanted to kind of do where we did it with an acronym maybe for the word forgive. And so me and my co-host, we decided, I'm gonna let you go first. You know, ladies first.
Wow. Ladies first. He probably just don't know what he wants to say. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. So yeah, we came up with some things to help us to remember. So you want me to go ahead and do my whole thing, or
we're gonna do back and forth?
Okay, so then
we don't. By the way, we don't know what we're gonna say.
So right, we don't know what the other is gonna say, but you know, I thought it was pretty cool, so we're gonna go ahead and do it. So the word forgive, each letter, something that will help us to remember why it's important for us to forgive. So F, I said freedom to continue living, because we don't want to be in bondage to unforgiveness. Living in bondage is no way to live. Right. So that freedom to continue living.
Yes. I also had freedom. I figured she was going to have freedom too.
But you probably said something different than what I said.
But yeah. So like when I'm in a place of not forgiving, I feel chained to that situation.
Because you have to put all that energy into it.
It's like so much energy. Don't let me have something against somebody. You say their name. Oh, my face gonna turn up. Oh, I'm talking about I get mad. It's so like I'm so.
See, he talking like he presently live in unforgiveness. So I just want to go on the record to say that I'm not the friend that he had these conversations with.
No, she don't. But like in the past, when I was chained to a situation where I should have been forgiven, I mean, I wasn't free. And so once you forgive, you do feel that sense of freedom. Yes. Like you said, you know, you're no longer in bondage.
To move, continue living.
You don't even be bothered by the situation no more. You just free.
Free. Calm, relaxed. Yeah. In that whole situation, somebody could tell you something about that situation, you'd be like, so unbothered. Right. So unbothered.
For real.
So, others will appreciate it. And so when I say others, I'm talking about the others who seek your forgiveness. They will appreciate it if you could give them that forgiveness, that same forgiveness that you will want extended to you.
Right. So I got open for because I'm more open in the process of me forgiving. I'm more open to seeing things differently and not getting so caught up in just me. Oh, yes. And not just not looking at, okay, well, what did you do to that person that could possibly had hurt them? So I'm more open.
That's good.
I'm more open to forgive even more once I forgive in that one situation.
That's good. Yeah. So for R, I said restoration in relationships. Now also, although you know, there are many people who like they will forgive, but they don't go back and try to repair those relationships. But in some situations, there will be many situations where you the need to forgive is not so horrible.
Yeah.
It could be something like between you and I, we forgive each other and that restores our relationship back. I mean, because there have been times where we had like a little rift between us and it's like, I ain't been talking to him for 2 hours. Or however long. Now, we don't set these little time limits, but there'll be moments where we just like, I ain't talked to him. But that forgiveness makes way for that restoration of our relationship.
Oh yeah, that's so good. Now I had realized, and it's kind of like piggybacking off of when I was talking about open, but just basically, excuse me.
Realizing what?
Trying to make sure this mic don't fall. But realizing that I just realized one thing, that I'm not perfect. And just like I mess up, others mess up too.
Right.
And it helps me to really understand the kindness and love that Christ has for us. And, it just goes deeper than anything that anybody can do. So, like, his love for us, no matter what we can do, he still loves us. He still forgives us. So, it makes me realize that.
Good. That's good. That's really good. For G, I put God requires it. And so if we want God to freely forgive us, because I mean, come on, let's be for real. We are constantly offending him, whether we believe in him or not. Whether you choose to believe in God or not, we are constantly offending him. But yet he is there, ready and willing to forgive us. And because he freely forgives us, he requires that we freely forgive others.
Amen. And I had gratitude because when I forgive, I have a sense of gratitude, because I think about what could have transpired if I would have continued. I just think about somebody, like, say for instance, if I didn't forgive someone 20, 30 years back and I haven't spoken to them, like that time that I would have missed, from not forgiving. So I have a sense of gratitude because of what could have been, but it didn't happen.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
So for I put immediate movement. So immediately moving into that place of growth, immediately moving yourself into that process of forgiveness so that you can grow into that maturity that you need in this. And so that's what I put, immediate movement.
Well, I put ignited. And
Woohoo!
I feel ignited because I feel so ignited to...
Oh, that's good.
I'm ignited to be willing to forgive even more. I had a moment where, and probably in the future I'll probably talk more about this, but when I first decided to basically forgive my mom for how I felt that she treated me, I sat back and started thinking about, who else who I need to forgive?
Oh, that's good. Making amends.
Yeah, so I feel ignited when I forgive,
That's good.
Yeah.
B, I put victory. Amen. Victory over that situation. So when you are no longer allowing yourself to be bound in that particular situation or in unforgiveness, you are being victorious over that situation. So remove those shackles, remove those chains, get out of that get out of that bondage to unforgiveness and be victorious. Victory over that situation.
I got similar. Vindicated for me. Vindicated. I know when you hear vindicated, you probably think about something. You automatically think of someone being accused of something, and then they being relieved from what they were accused of. But I feel vindicated because I accuse myself of allowing somebody to treat me a certain way, but I never even told them how to treat me from the beginning.
Oh.
So that vindication comes for me because, look, boy, you was accusing yourself for something that somebody did to you that they didn't even know that they did. For one, some people don't even know.
Right.
For real.
Yeah.
And so I just feel vindicated because I feel relieved that I released myself from blaming myself.
And so The last letter.
Last one.
E. Why it is important for us to forgive. Every person wants it. Unless you just, I don't know, you'll hear some people sometimes who be like, I don't care. They ain't got it for me. Da, 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 da. You'll hear people say little snappy stuff like that. But the truth of it all, deep down, we all want forgiveness. We all, especially when you did not intend to do or say whatever it is that was done or said. That's you want forgiveness. And so why is it important for us to forgive? Every person wants it.
Man, we should have left off on that one, but what I had was encourage.
I said it again. No.
Encouraging. It's encouraging for me. And for you too. Once you begin to forgive, it's so encouraging because once you start seeing the process of the things that start happening because you forgave that situation, it's encouraging. It's really
I'm
encouraging.
Telling you, it's encouraging. It's uplifting. It's like you can feel the burden being lifted off of you. That's a lot of weight that you're carrying to have to sit up and hold that space of unforgiveness.
Right. It makes me think about you when you were saying, now how you are now. It's no problem for you to forgive because, of the process that you have taken to forgive in the past. And so now it's just
more so because I deal with the process later. Right. Because, different situations, they require different processes. Like, every person's process is different. But then even with us as people, different situations, those processes are different. Because I can forgive you for saying something slick like that.
Right.
But if you betray me, it might take a little bit more for me to forgive you. I'm going to forgive you. Right. But that process is going to be a little bit more for me, I know, because that's an act of betrayal that was committed. You see what I'm saying? So, processes are different.
Definitely different.
But the act of forgiving, I'm going to give it automatically because I'm not going to be held in bondage to unforgiveness.
Me either, man. I did it too long.
And me too. Young and foolish and just really just not knowing, just feeling like they did me wrong and so it needs to be known.
Right. Right.
How dare you do me wrong, so to speak, because you let me tell it. During that time of my life, I was just a person who just was trying to get along with everybody. I ain't doing that wrong, so if something wrong happened, you must have brought it to me type of thing. But yeah.
I'm just so grateful. We hope that whatever we said will help.
Hope so.
Yeah, I hope. The doctor here, she gave some great points.
It's coming.
She gave some great points, and I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed it. It was quite the episode. It was a really good one.
It's one of those topics that, it really does need to be talked about more, taught more, especially if nowhere else, I would really say in the space of the faith. Because this is something that is required of all of us. Yes. But when you're in the faith, it should be what you believe. And so you should want to know how to walk through this process.
But Nita, guess what I just thought about?
What?
We got one more episode in the season.
I know. It's like these episodes, they flow so fast.
Oh my goodness.
It's like
one more
episode in this season.
It's been a good one though.
One more episode, then we'll get to see, get what you guys see, how the after show and how all of that's been going for the season. So being able to see, do we keep it or do we axe it going into season 3? We will see.
Well, we thank you so much for tuning in with us once again. We appreciate you. And we will talk with you next time on Talking with Sis.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's episode. Don't forget, every Thursday, we go live for the after show. So this is where we get together with you all on Facebook Live or Instagram Live and talk about the episode that we did on Tuesday. So follow us on Thursday evenings, 7 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time, on Facebook and Instagram, so we can chat it up with you all about Tuesday's episode. Talk with you then on Talking with Sense.
Wait. Do not leave until you subscribe. Subscribe right now.